And it is the amazing Jerome Besson and Rob Tepper here, representing our power team. And I was just starting to say hello, Jerome.
Hello.
See, he's really here. All right. All the way
Yes, I
from
am.
Switzerland. And so I was just starting to show you that after we had the training from dapulse last week, I realized that the way I was using it was not right. Like the way the Walmart gift card is set up is the way that I was using it in the past. And when you go over there, you'll see that it's just, in this case for Walmart, it's not a great example because it's just 3 line items. What happened to it? Just those 3 line items. But I think in my video, I even described how, these line items now fit nicely into this board, which is our offer performance optimization board. And so, when you look at the data this way, we can see all the different offers that we're running, and we can see the status of each, and we can see where we are, where we're stopped. So right now I'm waiting for feedback from you and from Susan and Rob, but based on the discussion yesterday, it's really me and you that are going to make the recommendations, and then they will agree and we'll decide on the budget and the priority together. But in terms of technical recommendations and priority, I think it's really up to us. So what I had put in here, I think I put some, oh yeah, so I actually put the link to the doc right here. Make your recommendations using the STOT. Not this dot. This dot. Have you had a chance to open this up yet?
Yes, I did. I did it open yesterday
Okay,
and
good.
also on Sunday.
All right.
But I want to open it right now at the same time.
Yeah, and I'll show you one thing I learned from Susan that helped me to set this up, and will help you to edit it. It's still loading, so here we go. All right, so as I was describing yesterday, there's a page, the possible next steps, and this page we can continually add to. And when you go on to any of these other pages, you'll see that we've got the offers in column A, and then I've just left some blank spaces for each one so that we can make recommendations on each one. But the recommendations we're trying to categorize, and they are all in this possible next steps. So as I was describing yesterday, if you come up with something that's not on here as for a recommended next step, then we can just add it to this list. And have you ever used that feature of Excel?
With that little arrow.
Yeah, it's actually the validation
Uh,
feature. So
okay.
so when you go into validation, it allows you to choose the cell range, which is Rob T, column B, cell 2, right? So in this cell
Yes.
range, the criteria is the list from a range, and the range is possible next steps. And so it's A2 to A23. So that becomes the pull down menu choices. And you get some options right there. And that's how they're all set up. So if you wanted to add another row, you could just take you could just take this right here and you can copy it and paste it, and it will have that validation criteria built into it. So you can always add new rows to the table, and then you pull down, and there they all are. If you start typing, the ones that meet that will start to come up. So add, video. So I love that feature. I just learned how to use it, and it definitely gives us the power to do things like this. Helps with standardization. We use the same. Actually, we use the same table here on the campaign registers, and that was where we first started using it. Susan showed it to me on Excel, and I said, wow, I love that feature. I wonder if they have it on Google Sheets. And then I went and I looked and I found it on Google Sheets. So here's the same thing when we're updating campaigns. We have a standard set of things that we're changing. And if I find something new, then I might, I'll add it onto the list.
Oh yeah, nice. It's new to me, that function.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, that's also when you go to look here, I need to do a little bit of updating here because this is one of my primary updates right now is what I've been doing with ad cache. So this would be a good time to update this chart. But let me just show you what I've done while I was waiting for feedback. When we go, I have this open twice, so let me go back to here. I'll go to my page. While I was waiting for feedback from everybody, I wound up, I've got to do something. So I've been doing things. So what I did here is I tried to set up a test video on YouTube, but I was unsuccessful. So I did I tested it on My Likes. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I tested My Likes direct to the offer. And I also did some additional testing on ad cache. So ad cache campaigns for individual zone / ISP combinations. So now I also did this. I added ad cache for banner ads. So these are things that have been done in the last 24 hours. And I just did them because, Game of War happens to be converting right now. So out of all of them, out of everything we've got here, it is the lowest hanging fruit, in my opinion. I tried to set this up. Definitely want to get a little more education about this. But this is the process. So I want you to just, from the video that I shared with you, and if you need, you're certainly welcome to refer to my recommendations, but it's better just to look at the possible next steps and just think, which of these things would I want to do now with my money on each of these different offers. And it could be stop traffic, stop all traffic, or all these different types of additional testing we can do, which I've been adding to. Every time I think of something new, I'll add it here.
Okay.
And one of the other suggestions to come up with is to say, have you looked at, have you looked at non-adult sources for Walmart by state, by zone, on all traffic sources. And not just Walmart, but Walmart and Game of War. And the reason why I'm asking that is we have determined that on our managed campaign, you still see my screen?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so our managed campaign looks like it's right there today, so we're not getting any traffic. Let me see if that's right. So this is our managed campaign, and they're not sending any traffic there today. I don't understand why. They were until now. And this is what I just added. And the reason why is if we go here and we just do a report, we take a look at this month. This month. Are you on a rocking chair?
No, I'm not.
What's that rocking back and forth?
I don't know.
You don't hear that? Huh.
Or maybe it's the clock.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's probably the clock. That's exactly what it is. Okay, so what I wanted to show you was that that if we look at the zone, just the zone alone, and this was managed, so they could have run it in any zones that they chose to. It turned out that all the conversions came from one zone. And then I looked at, because of Jeff, I looked at city states and I looked at ISP carriers. And what I found was that almost all of the conversions came from 3 ISPs. Anyway, those were the only 3 profitable ones. Verizon was actually a big loser, right? With all these clicks, this was a big loser. But these 3, I'm sorry, Sprint, T-Mobile, and actually, I think I have to look at it on their mobile carrier. Yeah, there it is. So AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile accounted for all except for 5, and those 5 were not profitable. So then I said, okay, well, let's make a campaign for this source AT&T, this source Sprint, this source T-Mobile, individual campaigns. And what I had found was, if you look, I had actually started a campaign with those 3 sources, with all those 3 together, and this one zone. I started it 3 days ago, and if you look and see, that was a non-managed campaign. So if you look non-managed, okay, so this is non-managed. So what you'll see is if we look up until today, custom date range, today's the 11th. So we're going to look up until the 10th, the 9th and the 10th. I set this up, I think, on the 9th. What you'll see is non-managed got almost no traffic, 1 conversion. I said, wow, that's awesome. We got to do more of that. Right? And I was trying to figure out why I couldn't get more traffic, and the bid price was set at $4.01, but it was a campaign that had already been running. So I took advice that we had gotten before and said, you know what, maybe we have to start a brand new campaign. And so that's what I did. I started a new campaign, and instead of starting it at $4, I started at $5.01. And lo and behold, it got 8,000 plus clicks in the last hour or so. They haven't converted yet, but they don't necessarily convert immediately. So what am I doing here? I've got ad cash right over here. Just drag it over here. Okay, so this was the last time I looked, like 15 minutes ago, 22.29. If we update it, I guess we have to change it to a different date before we can update it. So remember that was about 22 something. It's going up fairly quickly.
Yep. Wow.
Yeah. So at some point I can pause it. Right now there's no conversions on any of this, but we do make $9 per conversion, so it only takes 5 for this to become profitable, and 6 it starts to look really nice. Right? 6 times 9 is 54 on a $40. So the thing is, I did verify that it is the right source. If we go in here, okay, so this was up until yesterday, right? And now if we just look at today, went up by a bunch since the last time we looked at it, right? So, and I also added a banner ad, which I'm not sure why it's not running. That would be something maybe to get some direction on from Jeff, but I will probably cut this off at like $60 and see if anything converts. I don't want it to go too much, but you can't set up a campaign in ad cash for less than $50. And I've got 3 of them, one for each traffic source, one for each mobile carrier. So I have 3 separate ones, and
Okay.
we can lower the price. Now that we know that we can get a lot of traffic for $5, we could lower it back down to like $4, but we're getting a nice number of impressions, and if it converts like it has been, we should get at least 5 conversions from this number of clicks, if not more, from this particular source. So the other
Yes.
thing that I did is I set up banner campaigns. So if we go to the campaign list and look at for the
Rob,
banners, yes, sir.
hold on just one second regarding the last 3 campaigns that you did optimize by ISP. What zones are you targeting?
Just that one zone.
But
Yeah, let me show you.
don't you think
Let me show
that
you.
if you go back to volume to the managed campaign, I feel like it's not only one zone, it's like from that zone to that zone, so that
No,
they are targeting more. No, it's
no,
not.
it's just one zone. Let me show you again.
Yeah, I saw, but there is like an hyphen
Yeah,
in the middle of the numbers, so it doesn't mean that it's a bunch of zones.
no.
You know what I mean?
I'll show you in ad cache in a second, but let's just go back to it.
Okay.
So we're not getting any traffic to that zone. Oh, maybe I took it out. I don't think I took it out. This is just one zone, and I'll show you if we go back to ad cache. Well, let me do this. If we go 1217357, 1217357. So I also included that in my. So I basically put in 2 zones into ad cache because I wasn't sure. Where'd it go? Yeah, it's right here. Let me show you on each of these. So AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile. So if we go in and edit it, So I just put in certain states. So that's the other piece I haven't even showed you yet, but I did find different states we're converting. And there, it does show that there's going to be a number of views, which is nice. So here's the full number. But so if you look at that,
Okay. Yeah.
and there's another way to look at it too. If you go back into volume and we just look at the zones, look at all the zones, you'll see that some of the zones appear that way. And I think it's like this might be a publisher and that has multiple publications. So some of them are that way.
Yeah, exactly. I saw that one too. Yeah. Okay. No, I got it. So it means it's only targeting one zone.
Yeah, one zone. And um, so now I've got so it's this same publication right here. This is managed. Free. What are we looking at here? Oh, this is just today. Okay. Yeah. So this one campaign has just those three. First of all, we can just verify if we go in, it's all iOS. Since I wasn't getting any conversions, I definitely wanted to make sure. So I've already been through this a little bit, verified that it is all iOS, and it should be all mobile carrier. I didn't include in anything else. So that was where all the conversions came from before. And then I looked at the zone. Turns out that it's all coming from that same number, right? So whether it's one or many, it's still, it's the right one. And also looked at the, the traffic is these three different mobile carriers. So wanted to make sure that's actually happening. And last time I checked, yeah, all coming from those three. So it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And the conversions do tend to happen later on this mobile app. Like we had a conversion today for the 6th and another one for the 7th. So I'm hopeful that this, now that we're already up to 10,000, let's see if that number of $52 is close to what it's saying in here. $41. So hopefully we're a little bit conservative, but this is 83, and here we're up to 97. So it might be a little bit behind in the reporting. So I probably should cut it off fairly soon.
And your bid is still at 5 CPM.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to show you before we move on is that I did also set up the banner campaign, like I mentioned, and it's been approved, and yet it's not getting any traffic. I'm not sure why. So if we look at it, I mean, one reason it doesn't surprise me is because when I set up the campaign, it told me I wasn't going to get any traffic, but I couldn't figure out anything to change to make that show that I was. So specifically, I just started in again with one mobile carrier and that one publication. Now it is possible that this publication doesn't have banner ads and only has pop-ups. That would be the only reason why I would be getting no traffic at all. We've got the AT&T, and we've got the same zone. We've got the same states that it's converting in on that zone on AT&T. And when I set it up, you know how when you set up campaigns and AdCast, it tells you how much traffic that you're likely to get. And it's told me that I was likely to get no traffic. So I tried loosening all the different parameters except for the zone. There was nothing I could do to make it say that I was going to get any traffic. So we need to figure out why. And if this one source is doing so well, then Rob Harris and I talked about it earlier today and said, let's test banners. So that's all set up. It's a different campaign ID. It's this one right here, but you see it's just gotten 4 clicks. So it's not that it's not getting none, but it's getting almost none. This is probably just from when they tested it to approve it.
Yeah.
I think Rob has joined us now. Just getting his audio together.
Okay.
All right. So any other questions about everything I've just shown you and ad cache and related to Game of War?
Maybe not directly linked to ad cache, but I just had an idea regarding yours with the video marketing. So I think you said you wanted to set it up on YouTube, but you faced an issue, and now it's not live. But maybe we could also test air push and use some video that we can spy from M.O.B.E spy. Have you thought about that?
No, I like that. We haven't used air push at all, but I like that idea. We've talked about air push before, and they're one of the biggest for apps, right?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it. We don't hear you. Nope. How come we can't hear you? Let me see. It says that your microphone's on, so it might be that same issue that Jerome had on his, which is that you have the wrong mic selected. Anyway, have you used AirPush, Jerome?
No, I haven't.
Do you have an account?
I don't think so. I have to check for that, but let me see. I don't think I have. No, I don't.
Okay. Do you know anybody that has used it?
I think that Jeff used it. So what I really want to do next is to set up a call with Jeff and let him know about the things that you have been doing regarding this offer, and then let him know about the idea to run video marketing through AirPush and see what he thinks about it, and maybe he can help me out for the setup because I know that he has been using AirPush.
Okay. Yeah. No, sir.
And so, for instance, that would be something that I could put in this offer performance optimization recommendations, right?
Yes, absolutely. That's perfect. You know exactly what I want you to do, and then we can talk about it,
Okay.
figure out how to do it, who's going to do it. But at least we've got it on the list, and we can prioritize it. Let me just see if
Okay.
we have AirPush in our database yet. Give me 1 second. Try again. Nope. When you speak when you're in the and you speak, on the section where your microphone is, you should see it moving. You do. That's very strange. Is it through your Chrome browser or standalone application? Okay. So as far as AirPush goes, I'm just looking to see if we already have an account on there. But do you know anything about doing? Oh yeah, we do have an account there. Do you know how video ads work on there?
Not exactly. I think it's not that hard. I mean, you can go through M.O.B.E Spy, find some videos, download them, and then I don't think it's too hard. It's
Yeah.
just the question if we want to edit the video, then I'm not good at that, but it's something that is doable. And
Yeah,
so once we have it, then it's just the matter of uploading it to the traffic source and then run some traffic to it.
I like it. Well, I know that videos for Game of War are also on YouTube, so it's definitely not hard to find. Um, hold on, I'm just getting on to AirPush, and we can take a look at it together. And then M.O.B.E Spy. Yeah, I mean, one of the other big findings that I shared with Rob this morning is, like I just showed you, it's that one publication on ad cache, and similarly for propeller ads, there's just two publications that account for most of the conversions, and up until now we've done mostly adult. Even on adult, there's generally just a couple of publications that account for most of the traffic. I remember the first conversation I had with you at Jordan's event, and we were talking about the fact that that's the key, is to have these exclusive, to be able to go direct to the public, to the publishers. And I think so even more now when I see the conversions on Game of War. If we had that one publisher direct that we see on ad cache, that would be huge.
Yes, that's right. I agree.
So we got to figure out how to find those. Okay, hold on. I'm just setting up a new password here, and Rob is still trying to get on, or to be able to be heard. I'm gonna see if I can help him in a second.
Okay.
Shoot, it won't let me do that. I hate that.
Possible, then no problem. We can meet and update each other for a short session, if it's
Okay.
okay for you.
Yeah, it's really more about your timing because I know it's late there. So if you have time for a short session after you speak with Jeff, that would be great. If it's too late for
Okay.
you, then just give us a quick update in the chat and we can wait until the next day, until Thursday.
Okay. Yeah, sounds perfect. Excellent. Great.
All right, Jerome, thank you, sir. And
Thanks to you. Thanks a lot.
all right, we'll talk soon. Have a good night.
Okay, talk soon. Good night. Bye bye.